Keep your desk clean when you leave, my sister Victoria sneered, tossing a cardboard box onto my desk. Though I suppose cleaning is what you've always been best at. Like mother, like daughter. The words cut deep, but I kept my face neutral as I stared at the box. 10 years of dedication to Chen Industries, our family's tech company, reduced to a single cardboard container. The irony wasn't lost on me, being fired on my 35th birthday. I'm Rachel Chen. At least that's the name on my diploma, though according to Victoria, I don't deserve the family name. My mother had been the company janitor before she fell in love with my father, James Chen. Their marriage scandalized Boston's elite business circles, and even after 36 years, some wounds never healed. Victoria, my half-sister from Dad's first marriage, never let me forget my mother's origins. Even now, standing in my office in her perfectly tailored Chanel suit, her expression carried that familiar blend of disgust and superiority. The board meeting's in an hour, she said, glancing at her Cartier watch. Dad wants this done before then. Can't have the new investors seeing any family drama. I looked around the corner suite I had earned, not inherited. My walls held patents, my Harvard MBA diploma, and photos of teams I'd led to success. Under my leadership as Chief Innovation Officer, Chen Industries had grown from a $10 million company into a $100 million powerhouse in enterprise software. Why now? I asked quietly, though I already knew the answer. Tomorrow Maxwell Thompson, CEO of Thomson Technologies, a Fortune 500 giant, was coming to discuss a potential acquisition. Victoria had been pushing for this sale for months, despite my objections that we were undervaluing our innovations. Her smile turned cruel. We can't have someone of your background representing Chen Industries. What would people think? Besides, you've served your purpose. The patents are in the company's name. Your innovations will help us secure a good price from Thomson. My hands clenched under the desk. Those patents weren't just ink on paper. They were my life's work. I developed our flagship security software in college, pulling all-nighters while Victoria partied her way through a business degree. Does Dad know about this? I asked. It was his idea, Victoria replied smoothly, enjoying the way I flinched. He said it's time to clean house before the sale, starting with the janitor's daughter. The door opened. My father walked in. At 65, James Chen still commanded attention. Silver hair, stern expression, decades of business success carved into his face. But when his eyes met mine, there was no warmth. The paperwork's ready, he said, placing a document on my desk. Standard termination agreement. Your shares will be bought out at current market value. I searched his face for the man who used to sneak me ice cream while I helped Mom clean the offices. The man who beamed with pride at my graduation. But he wouldn't meet my gaze. You're making a mistake, I said softly. Our new security platform launches next month. We'll proceed under new management, Victoria interrupted. We don't need you anymore, Rachel. We never did. You were just a cheap developer who happened to share some DNA. I scanned the termination agreement and my blood ran cold. They weren't just firing me, they were stripping me of all rights to my innovations. I won't sign this. I placed the document back on the desk. These terms are ridiculous. Victoria's smile widened. Then we'll sue you for breach of contract. Every line of code you wrote belongs to Chen Industries. Sign now, take the money and disappear. Otherwise, our lawyers will ensure you never work in tech again. I looked at Dad. He studied his shoes. He had chosen his side long ago. With steady hands, I began packing my belongings. Family photos went first. Mom at my graduation, Dad teaching me to code, even one of Victoria back when we were children. Each memory felt like a weight dropped into the box. 1 hour, Victoria reminded me. And don't forget to turn in your key card. We wouldn't want the janitor's daughter sneaking in after hours. They left me alone with my box and my thoughts. My phone buzzed. A text. The name on the screen made me pause. Maxwell Thompson. Still on for dinner tonight? Need to discuss something important before tomorrow's meeting. A small smile touched my lips. Victoria and Dad had no idea I'd been meeting with Maxwell for months. And they definitely didn't know about the secret I'd uncovered. A secret that would turn their world upside down. Definitely there, I typed back. Some interesting developments today. As I looked around my office one last time, box in hand, I felt the sting of betrayal fade into resolve. Tomorrow's meeting wouldn't just be about an acquisition. Because Maxwell Thompson wasn't only here to buy Chen Industries. He was here to meet his daughter. And I had the DNA test to prove it. Meeting security has been notified, I said, showing Maxwell the message on my phone. He read it and laughed. A sharp, confident sound that would have sent chills down the spines of his business rivals. Perfect, he said. They won't see us coming. As I left Lure that night, another text came through. This one was from my mother. Heard what happened? Remember what I taught you. Sometimes the best revenge is letting them think they've won. Until they haven't. I smiled, already thinking about tomorrow's meeting. Victoria thought she was saving Chen Industries from the janitor's daughter. She had no idea she was about to hand it over to its true heir. The next morning, Chen Industries' lobby buzzed with unusual activity. Board members and executives streamed into the building, dressed to impress for the Thompson Technologies meeting. From my car across the street, I timed my entrance perfectly. At 10:59 a.m., 1 minute before the meeting was scheduled to begin, I walked in wearing a crisp Armani suit Maxwell had given me. The security guard's eyes widened in recognition. Miss Chen, I'm sorry, but... It's fine, George. I held up a visitor's badge. I'm here for the Thompson Technologies meeting, as their legal consultant. Before he could process this, the elevator doors slid open. Out stepped Maxwell Thompson himself, commanding attention without effort. Behind him trailed a team of lawyers with briefcases that would soon change everything. Rachel, he greeted warmly. Shall we? We walked together toward the main conference room. Through the door I could already hear Victoria's voice, smooth and confident. And with our recent restructuring, Chen Industries is perfectly positioned. Maxwell pushed the door open mid-sentence. The room fell silent. Victoria recovered first. Mr. Thompson. We weren't expecting you for another. Her voice faltered as she spotted me. What is she doing here? Miss Chen is here as part of my legal team, Maxwell said coolly, taking the head seat, Dad's usual place. Shall we begin? Dad stood, his face red. Now see here, Thompson. We had an agreement. Rachel is no longer employed. Sit down, James. Maxwell's voice cut like steel. Before you embarrass yourself further. His lawyers began distributing folders to everyone. I watched Victoria's face as she opened hers, the exact moment her polished smile cracked. This is impossible, she whispered. The original patents, Maxwell announced to the room. Filed by Sarah Lynn, later Sarah Chen, in 1988. The very technology that built this company. He paused, letting the silence sharpen the blow. Technology stolen through coercion and fraud. Dad's face turned from red to white. You can't prove. The prenuptial agreement? I cut in, enjoying the flicker of fear in Victoria's eyes. The one where Mom supposedly signed over her patents? Turns out there's an interesting clause about coercion and full disclosure. And Mom kept the original draft, before you slipped in the extra pages. Victoria snapped her folder shut. This is ridiculous. Even if those patents were valid, the statute of limitations doesn't apply, Maxwell's lead lawyer interrupted smoothly. When the theft is ongoing, every new version of the software is a fresh violation. He nodded toward me. I pulled out another folder. And speaking of software, here's my personal patent application for the new security platform. Filed before the company's claim. And here, I laid down copies of Mom's original code from 1988. Is proof that my work builds directly on hers. Work that never legally belonged to Chen Industries. The board erupted into murmurs, papers rustling. 30 years of success. Exposed as stolen technology. Stocks would plummet. Criminal charges were possible. Dad's voice was barely a whisper. Why are you doing this? After everything I gave you. Gave me. I stood, fury sharpening my words. You stole Mom's future. You forced her into marriage by threatening her career. You made her work as a janitor to hide her brilliance. And you raised me to feel ashamed of my heritage. It was for the company, he shouted weakly. For the family. Speaking of family, Maxwell's voice carried across the table. There's one more document you should see. He slid a final paper forward. The DNA test results. Victoria snatched it up first, her eyes darting across the page. When she looked up, first at me then at Maxwell, her perfect composure shattered. No, No, this can't be. Yes, Maxwell said simply. Rachel is my daughter. Sarah was the love of my life before your father stole her away. And now, his smile was cold. Now I'm here to take back everything he took from us. The next hour blurred into legal terms and negotiations. But the outcome was never in doubt. By the end, Chen Industries had a new owner, a new CEO, and a very different future. Victoria stormed out. Dad remained, slumped and defeated. Your mother, he said quietly. Does she know? She's known all along, I replied. She kept Maxwell's secret to protect me, to give me the chance to succeed on my own merits. Something you and Victoria never allowed. I gathered my papers, standing tall. Now I'll run this company the way it should have been run all along, with integrity, innovation, and respect for everyone no matter their background. Dad gave a slow nod, then walked out of the room that was no longer his. Maxwell placed a hand on my shoulder. Ready for your first day as CEO? I looked around. My conference room. My skyline view of Boston. The same one I used to admire as a teenager while helping Mom clean these very windows. Actually, I smiled, there's something I need to do first. An hour later, I stood in the lobby, facing the maintenance staff who had gathered in confusion. Mom was there too. She had never quit even after I became an executive. First order of business as CEO, I announced. Every maintenance and janitorial staff member is getting a raise, full benefits, and a direct path to professional development if they want it. I met Mom's eyes as they filled with tears. Because in this company, everyone deserves a chance to rise. That night in my new office, I received one final text from Victoria. You'll regret this. No one will respect a janitor's daughter as CEO. I typed back. You're right about one thing. I am a janitor's daughter. I'm also a brilliant inventor's daughter, a tech mogul's daughter. And now I'm your boss. Clean out your desk by tomorrow. Looking out at the city lights, I thought about legacy, family, and justice. Victoria and Dad had tried to erase my mother's contributions, to shame me for my background. Instead, they gave me the fire to reclaim everything. Our company, our truth, our heritage. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't destroying your enemies. It's becoming exactly who you were meant to be, despite their best efforts to hold you back. And sometimes, the janitor's daughter ends up owning it all.